pretty Filipina. Her name is Baby Jean. She is a school teacher at Baptist Boys Bible College. Pastor, tell us about the school and about this young lady sitting between us.
Well, meron po tayong Christian school dito sa Grace Baptist Church. At kami po ay nagtuturo from preschool hanggang senior high. And one of our teachers is here to talk about the school. Her name is Baby Jean. Baby Jean,
Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Ang masasabi ko lang po tungkol sa school namin is, though lockdown ngayon, still yung mga bata ay nakakapag-aral sila ng, nakakapagpatuloy sila ng pag-aaral nila. And the reason why we are inviting you to pupuntahin yung mga bata dito sa school is because we love children and gusto natin sila na lumaki ng maayos and maging godly sa kanilang paglaki, and we invite you to
Is she a good teacher, Brother Rudy?
yes, she is.
Are you sure? So, love children?
I love them.
Well, that's her. What age group do you teach?
4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great point you made, that during this lockdown.
Right.
Now, let me get this straight then. Does that mean that the teachers are working with the students over the phone?
Yes, online.
Online.
We're doing online with the students, even though they're home.
So they're not losing ground because
No, they're not. That's the advantage of the school, the system that we use, School of Tomorrow system, the ACE. So, well, thank you, Baby Jean. Thank you for joining us. Right. Okay.
All right, well, today we're going to continue about this COVID, this coronavirus, dilemma that's going on, and it is a problem. And we want to be sensitive, Pastor, to these people sitting at home. There are people that are having financial problems.
Right.
They're having marital problems. There are people that now, I don't know about the Philippines, but I know in other countries, now suicide is doubling and tripling.
Right.
And so maybe it's exacerbating the problems. Now they're finding out that people are even hitting the bottle more. So somebody that had problems with alcohol are now having more problems with alcohol. Drug addiction is getting worse in some cities. Crime is going up.
And this is because the reason for all of this is one.
I really think, I'm going to give you two answers to that. One, I think this was all scripted. Remember what Rahm Emanuel from America said, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Right.
I think that there's been some things in place. This is what we're going to do on a local level, a province level, a national level. And I think they've made a mistake. I do. I think the media has contributed to it. It's created a panic, a hysteria. I think also too, this may be a test. Now this is something that many of you have never considered, but I think it's possible this is an experiment that they're wanting to find out. Can we manipulate and make people stay home and not go to church by using fear?
Right.
See, in the past, it always was with a gun. We have to use force to get people to do what we're. Now they found out, all we got to do is use television,
But
social media.
what would be the agenda for all of that? Bringing fear to all of this.
I think it's about stripping away freedoms.
Right.
There's a big word some of your viewers may know, totalitarianism, where they want to totally control you.
Right.
Also, too, it could be a way. Here's another view, and this has merit. Again, I'm not being the authority, but it could be another way to collapse economies, to move us towards a cryptocurrency or a cashless society.
Right.
Because if we go to a cashless society, then it's going to be controlled by the computers and the internet.
Right.
And then that's a few steps away from what the Bible refers to as the market.
Well, they say that money carries the virus. So therefore, if we just have a card or maybe an implant They're saying that if we get implants into our hands, but we can buy and sell without using money.
Yeah.
And I think this is moving us into a lot of the things that the Bible talks about, the coming of the Antichrist and all of that. We do not like to sound negative, but the Bible has a lot to say about that. But I don't think we should fear either.
Right.
Because when we live in fear, we're not in control.
Right.
Fear has control over us.
Right.
And we should be careful that we read the Bible, we trust the Lord, but we know what's going on.
Right. 2 Timothy 1, God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and sound mind. But here's the thing. Pastor Rudy and I, we're not saying that the Antichrist is going to come along tomorrow and the mark of the beast is next week. We're not saying that. But we do believe that this experiment, if you will, and think about this now, this is worldwide.
Right.
I mean, you got the Congo, you've got Singapore, New Zealand, America, Russia, China, Philippines. I mean, it's ridiculous. This so-called pandemic. I was looking at some of the figures today, that so far there's been 1,998,000 cases confirmed. Mild cases, 1,341,182. Serious cases, 51,608. Now listen to this. Of the 1,998 cases, 1,000 cases, 126,000 have died. 126,607. Recovered is 478,741. So 478,741 have recovered. Now here's what's interesting. This doctor from Stanford University, Bhattacharya, how you say that guy's name?
Bhattacharya.
Okay, he says that now they're questioning that these inflated figures is now totally off. Because what they're finding out is the World Health Organization, anybody that dies with flu symptoms or pneumonia symptoms are put under the umbrella of coronavirus.
Why would they do that?
To inflate the numbers. In other words, do you know how many people die of the flu every year worldwide?
How many?
650,000.
Every year.
Every year. Worldwide. That's just the flu. Now that's not, that's how people die. So therefore, this coronavirus, which is bad, we're not suggesting it's not bad, is not totally unlike other things that we've had. Here's what is unprecedented. The governments of the world cracking down on their people, stopping work, stopping churches.
Right.
That's why I say it's an experiment. To see, can we control people with fear and the media, and how far can we go without the people, rebel?
Are you talking about individual governments thinking about controlling their people, or is it one global?
I think it's both. I think there's small plans and then there's a master plan.
Right.
And I do believe the devil factors into them. Now, what should people do? Well, I think one thing people should do is, number one, they need to read the Bible. Let me say this. Some of you are living in fear. You know why? Because you're watching social media 24/7.
Right.
You can't keep watching the television and the internet news. It's driving some of you crazy.
Right. And it's very negative. What we find, all the people getting sick. Of course, there are people getting sick. Even with the flu, people die of the flu. But
Hepatitis,
right.
tuberculosis.
Right. But it's the media has made worse the present crises. Again, we're not denying the virus. It is a real threat. But the media has somewhat come out with a lot of things that are negative, which, like you said, we should go to the Word of God and get hope from the Scriptures about this entire crisis.
This is the good news right here. Now, some of the folks watching, let me say this too. Something else you can do while you're on this so-called lockdown. Your church still has expenses. Your pastor has a family to take care of. You've got the elect utility bills. You've got the missionaries that need to be supported. I would like to challenge people, don't forget about your tithes and offerings to your local church. Your local church needs that. Now you say, yeah, but we don't have any money. Okay, if that's the case, then you can't give. But some of you are still getting a paycheck. Some of you are getting, I don't know, some type of charity from the government. You need to give a portion of that to your church. If you want to be right with God. Am I overstating it?
No, that is the right thing, because as a church member, we wanted to keep everything in our churches going, because we have been given
a ministry.
Right, we have a ministry. We have been given the commission to win the lost, and the only way we can do that is by supporting missionaries and keep the churches going and all the ministries.
You know it's a blessing for those of you watching and listening to Pastor Kalayan, is that Grace Baptist paid off their church building last year. Boy, that is the blessing of God, the providence of God. And yet still, Grace Baptist still has a lot of bills to pay. We got staff to pay, the Christian school, the Bible college, the church staff. So that's one thing. The other thing, those of you that are born again Christians, you need to use this coronavirus as a way to witness to your lost friends and neighbors. You need to witness to them, Facebook, texting, whatever. Then your prayer life, you need to pray. And then if you can come to church, maybe you can.
Right.
But you need to support your church. And then when the coronavirus is over, Pastor, I believe it'll be over, don't you?
Oh yes, I do.
It's going to be over.
Right.
Man, I would love to see every born-again Christian come out in force and have a big day on the first Sunday that this is over.
Well, actually, May the 3rd is it's the first Sunday after the lockdown, and we want to invite you all to come to church.
Amen.
And like a reunion. We've been out of church a month and a half for some of our members, and we'd like to see you come back and join us and worship together on May 3rd. So please keep that in mind.
And that'd be great. We're also going to have a youth rally. Grace Baptist is also, we're trying to put together a tremendous missionary play called Bridge of Blood, and we'll let you know more about that. But if you're not saved, let's say you're not even saved. You're listening to this program, you're discouraged, you're depressed. Let me say this. God is a God of mercy, He's a God of love, greater than you really realize. And yes, God is a God of wrath and anger. But you know, He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross. And it wasn't with wrath, it was with love. And the Bible says the reason why is because you're a sinner. Now the gospel is good news if you know the bad news. And the bad news is you are a sinner. And I'm sorry that you had some bad things happen to you, right? Maybe your mom left you when you were little, or your dad died. There's bad things that happen to people. I hate that. But you've got to be honest with God and say, you know, I'm a sinner. And I need Jesus Christ. That He died on the cross, was buried, and rose on the third day. And what He did on that cross is enough to save you from your sin. And so, Pastor and I would like to ask you right now, you need to humble yourself before the Lord, bow your head, and trust Him as your Lord and Savior. And then write and let us know about it. At Grace Baptist, we can help you in your Christian walk. Or, if you want to know more, how can I know that I'm truly saved? Then write and let us know how we can help you. Pastor, let the folks know about our ministry and about where we're located. But we'll be with you the next time. And next time we're going to talk about prophecy and how that plays a part.
Right. Well, hopefully, makasama namin kayo sa susunod na programa namin. Sabi nga ni Pastor, prophecy, kasi lahat na nangyayari ito may kinalaman sa sinabi ng Biblia sa atin. Pero mahalaga rin na tayo ay makatiyak ng langit, kasi kung ano man ang mangyari, kung tayo man ay magkaroon ng virus, mamatay tayo, kung si Kristo ating nakilala sa ating puso, well then, hindi naman masyadong masama. Kung tayo man ay magkaroon ng karamdaman, ay meron tayong tahanan sa langit na naghihintay. Kaya, again, nagpapasalamat po kami na tayo nagkasama-sama. Sana, sa mga darating na araw, ay madyayahan niyo kaming muli sa inyong mga tahanan sa pagitan ng internet. And so, kami nagpapasalamat at muli, tayo po ay magsama-sama sa araw ng bukas sa ating susunod na talakayan. Maraming salamat po.